Hey guys, what's up? I'm Brian with Fisher's Off-Road, and in today's video, I'm going to do something that I've been getting a lot of requests about, and that is to do a review on our 2025 Yamaha Wolverine RMAX4 1000 XTR stretch. Now, this is not just any review, this is a one-year review. Hold up, y'all. We are in the middle of doing our edit, and Yamaha has just dropped a bombshell. Huge news. Yamaha for 2026 has made some changes, and you are gonna love them. The price has dropped from 2025 to 2026, $2,000. This 2025 XTR stretch last year was $27,999. 2026 price is $25,999, and the limited was $29,199 and is now $27,199. So Yamaha is passing the savings on to you, the off-roader, to make sure they get you out on the trail at an even better price point. Now let's get back to the video. We've had this machine for a year now. We've worked with it, we've played with it. We're gonna cover all that, how we use it, what we do with it. And I know a lot of you guys looking at a machine like this, you don't necessarily want something all sport and something all work. This is kind of like a sport utility, and I'm gonna cover all that with you here in this video. And I'm also gonna cover some of the other Yamaha models that I currently own or have owned, everything from the RMAX4 1000 Limited Compact to the X2 1000. There's a few different machines that I've owned over the past couple years that I can compare to this one, and I know I get a lot of questions on that. And then I'm also going to cover some accessories we put on here, and I'm really going to kind of break this whole thing down. And I'm also going to share with you, if I had to do this all over again, would I pick the RMAX4 1000 XTR stretch? One of the biggest questions I get is, why did I pick the XTR instead of the Limited? And I got to tell you, it's not really the price thing, because it's really not that much difference between the XTR and the Limited. I just couldn't handle having another blue unit. I had blue units for the last 4 or 5 years, and I was just burnt out on blue. I didn't want blue, and I really like the looks of this package. I think the black and the gray and the bead locks, I just think this is a really, really good looking machine. So for me, I could get the XTR and I could add to it. You know, I put a backup camera on, I'm putting on some of the other stuff you can get on the Limited. So for me, it was just, I didn't want another blue machine. That's all there is to it. That's the bottom line. And I really, really like this machine. And not only does it look good, it matches my truck. So why wouldn't I get it? On the 2025 model, we all know, looking at other reviews and videos and looking at it on paper, there are a lot of upgrades. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when you're driving this machine, you can tell a big difference in all the upgrades that they've done. And one of the biggest ones, and I know this is something that people have been just wanting forever, is the turf mode. And I gotta be honest with you, I probably use the turf mode in this machine 80% of the time. Even like, you know, cruising around our property or some of the other riding that we do, I just find it does really good in turf mode. It doesn't tear up our trails. I can turn really good. And another thing with this unit, and it was on previous units in conjunction with the turf mode, is your D mode. You know, you got your sport, trail, and crawl, and I live in either crawl or trail mode. Now, there's times you get out there and you want to get her up on the pipe and you'll hit sport mode, but really for me, like the same way as like the turf mode, I'm just in crawl and trail mode most of the time. I just really kind of think, for me, that's where this machine really sits well. And the thing about Yamaha with their D mode switch is you still have the same power throughout all 3 modes. It's not like, oh, it's decreased 40% if you're in crawl mode. You still have the same power in crawl mode that you have in sport mode. It's just more linear. It's more designed for what kind of riding you're doing at that time. If you're rock crawling, you don't want that thing to be just super, just amped up and jumpy. You want it to be nice and smooth and a linear experience on the throttle. And that really helps out with everything all the way around, even if you're throwing it into diff lock, which that new diff lock that they have on the 2025 is phenomenal. One thing that I really can't get over on this new Yamaha is how easy it is to steer. in diff lock because it has its own steering mode in diff lock. Whereas in the past, all you guys know, if you've been four-wheeling for a long time, if you got something and you put it in diff lock, and I basically call that mountain goat mode in the Yamaha, because once you put it in diff lock, there's really not much you can't climb. This thing will go wherever you point it. And when you have that special power steering mode that they have now with the diff lock, you can use one finger to steer this thing when it's in diff lock, and that is unheard of. And not only that, it engages faster, it disengages faster, so it's almost like immediate. You don't have that long lag time of trying to get it out of diff lock or get it in diff lock. I mean, when you flip that switch and you're in diff lock, it's there. I want to show you guys something. This is mind-blowing to me. I'm going to flip it over to diff lock. Okay, diff lock, and we're already engaged. It's already locked in. Now, here's what I want you to watch. I want you to see something. Look at that steering in diff lock. Look at that, one finger. That is mind-blowing that they can have a power steering setup mode in here for diff lock that you can steer that easy. And the power steering is another thing that I use on this all the time, the different modes. You have high, standard, and low, and that's really going to depend on how you want it to steer, whether you're going fast or trail riding or rock crawling. You know, you're going to have different variations of that power steering that you can really adjust and make it your own. So there's a lot of different things on this machine, the XTR, that you can really dial in for your kind of trail riding or your kind of working. And another thing is the Fox QS3 shocks. These shocks are fully adjustable. You can adjust whether you want them like a soft, medium, or firm. And I think I currently have like a soft up front, medium in the rear, just for the kind of riding I'm doing at this time. You can also do your spring adjustment. There's a lot of adjustments on these shocks that you can really dial it in for however you're going to be using it. They've also added an all-new brake setup. It's not like they took the old brakes and just kind of made some changes. It's completely new from the ground up. They're smoother, quieter, perform much better. One thing about Yamaha, and you guys are going to notice this if you're shopping around or even if you own one, the cockpit, the cab of this vehicle is second to none on automotive styling. It is comfortable. Everything is like convenient at a finger's touch. It really reminds you of a higher end pickup truck, not an off-road vehicle. So when you're out there on the trail all day long, everything from the rubber steering wheel to the rubberized knee pads, there's one here, there's one here. They also have it for the passenger. This is an all-new Adventure Pro for this year, 7-inch display. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this. It works with your phone. You can hook it up, listen to music. This model here, the XTR, has the MTX stereo system in it, which gives you the speakers in the front doors. The Limited has speakers in the back doors. And that's one question I get a lot is, can I do a video on putting speakers in the back doors? Now, I know Yamaha has it to where you can put the speakers in the back doors. There's not like a part number if you go on their accessory. You'll actually have to go into the Limited and get the speakers that are for the back doors on the Limited and put them in here if you want to get the Yamaha speakers. So they don't have it on their accessory page, but you can go in their parts page and get the exact same speakers that the Limited has in the back. I haven't done a video on that, and I know I got some questions about that, and I even had one guy, now I'm running off of memory here because I get a lot of emails and a lot of questions. I think his name was Brian. I think he was a firefighter, and him and a couple of his buddies bought some 25 RMAX stretches, and they got the XTRs, and they were asking me about putting speakers in the back and if I could do a video on it. And I've had several other people ask me that same thing. So I have not done it yet. No subwoofer, no speakers in the back, but it can be done, and you got to get those speakers off the Limited to put in the back if you want just a plug and play type thing. The Adventure Pro has a lot of options now. There's so many things you can do with it. You've got a lot of different things you can adjust. You can really kind of make this custom for yourself. There's my backup camera, you know, here's music. You can hook your phone up, play music. You've got your four-wheel drive options, everything that you have here. As you can see right now, whenever you stop the RMAX with the turf mode, it will engage the rear axle when it's stopped, because they don't want you sitting there on an off-camber hill or something with one wheel engaged. It also tells you up here what you have going on as far as your front diff, if it's open, if it's locked, and then your rear, if it's locked, but it's flashing because I have the machine off right now. Now, if I were to start this machine and take the emergency brake off, you hear that click? It's open. So right now we're in turf mode. So that's one wheel that's giving you traction. So that way you aren't tearing up the terrain with posi in the rear. Now watch when I put the emergency brake on. It locks. So that way, if you are stopped, it doesn't drift away on you because you only have one wheel locked in. And then also, if I take the emergency brake off, it's unlocked. Now when I shut that off, you'll hear it click and it engages the rear. So when we turn that back on, it's going to be showing you that it's locked. So Yamaha has covered a lot of bases with this machine and making it rider friendly and usable. And at the end of the day, you know, you want to know that everything is going to work the way you want it to for the application that you're doing. The nice thing about the Yamaha line is it's super comfy from everybody, from the driver to the passenger. And this handle here is really, really nice. It feels good. It doesn't move around and wobble. You can even adjust it in and out. The seats are super comfortable. And one thing I really like about this RMAX is when you're driving it, you can see out over the hood. You can see your obstacles. You know where you're going. It's just a different driving experience, and I like the seating position. Some machines you sit down in so far, you're so laid back, it's almost like you're driving a Corvette, and you can't quite see out over the hood when you're taking on certain terrain, especially when you're rock crawling. You want to be able to see what's going on all sides of your vehicle and in the front. So to be able to pick your line, and it's just very confidence inspiring to be able to sit here and look out over and see everything. And also, I've added a lot of accessories to this machine. The Yamaha side view mirrors, a must have. I really enjoy these mirrors. Every Yamaha I get, I will put these mirrors on there. They're just nice. If you happen to clip a tree, they come in. This is the tip up windshield. You've got a couple different positions you can go. You can go in this position, it's fully closed. And then you can go in that position where you get more air, or you can put that up and you can be cruising down the trail and get maximum air. So one thing you'll notice about the Yamahas is the door handles are on the inside. And some people are like, well, why does Yamaha do that? Because a lot of the manufacturers put them on the outside. Well, if you're doing some wheeling and you rub up against a tree, you know, you might lose this door panel here. But if you rub up against a tree and you got a door handle here, you're going to trash it. Then you have to replace everything in there, the mechanism, all that stuff. And another thing too, if you're out there and you don't have these over fenders on here, you're going to sling some mud. And if you sling a lot of mud, it's going to get in the door handle. So with this, it's on the inside. It's easy to use. It works every single time. You don't have to worry about it being messed up. And then here in the back, this is where we're going to get into the stretch part of the vehicle. And one of the coolest things about these doors is they're spring loaded, because a lot of times when you go to get in a machine, the back door is slamming on you when you're trying to get in, and with this it's spring loaded, so it kind of holds the door open for you while you go to get in. When you're sitting back here, you've got some really nice secure handholds that you can hang on to being a passenger back here. We've got some amazing storage here in the center. You've got a 6-gallon storage here. You've got cup holders. The seating is very, very comfortable. Sometimes the back seats, they sit so low that, you know, you kind of get a little bit car sick because you can't see where you're going. At least with this here, with the Yamaha, it's very secure back here. The seating is great, plenty of storage, and you can see where you're going. So it's very comfortable. And then also on the seat belts, you've got these adjusters here where you can adjust them up and down on the seat belt. So if you're taller and you want that up higher on your shoulder, or if you're shorter and you want it down lower. And another thing, you'll notice that these seat belts retract. There's a few models out there that the seat belts don't quite retract, especially over time as you use them. And that's one thing you just don't see here with the Yamaha. The shoulder bolster is not in your way. It's there to protect you. If you lay this machine over on the side, this is definitely going to keep your shoulder off the ground, off the rocks, keep you from getting busted up. So the shoulder bolster is a really important part of keeping you safe when you're out on the trail. So I think this part right here is really what makes this machine shine over a lot of other sport utilities or sport or utility machines. You've still got that really good look and sporty style and ride, and when you're on the trail, you don't even realize that you have back seats or a bed. So when you are working with it, this bed will hold up to 600 pounds, and this machine will tow up to 2,000 pounds. And I'm telling you right now, we've towed quite a bit with this machine, and we never even knew anything was back there. I don't think I've come close to the 2,000 pound mark, but still, sometimes when you're towing something, you can feel it. It really draws down on the machine. And I think one of the things that really makes this a big success for Yamaha is the Ultramatic transmission, and the way they have it set up is the gearing and the transmission itself, the design and the 10-year belt warranty. Yamaha really has it down whenever it comes to that. So you can tell a big difference. There's a lot of times in this machine where you'll be in high gear and you'll just cruise right along, whether you're climbing a hill or an obstacle or rock crawling. And there's other machines that won't do that same thing in high gear without giving you a notification to go into low gear or just burning your belt up. For me to go into low gear and four-wheel drive diff lock, like, I'm going to be working this thing. We are going to be into some serious rock crawling. We're going to be doing some serious work with it. You know, if we're in four-wheel drive low, diff lock, this thing is earning it. And sometimes we get there. I'm not saying we don't. I'm not going to say I haven't been there. We've all been there. That's the best part about off-roading, is being able to take this machine and put it in four-wheel low diff lock and climb your way through something that you never thought was possible. And with this, there's sometimes that I'm on certain terrain, or I'll see an obstacle coming in front of me and it's really just nasty and rocky and off camber, and you go over it and it's like it's nothing. And I'm thinking, well, that really wasn't much at all. And then even the people on the outside, like, well, that thing handled it like nothing. So this machine is really, really deceiving, because you can handle a lot easy. And for me, that's probably one of my favorite things to do, is to get out there, like say the Rubicon Trail, and really just get that low and slow rock crawling off camber, where you and the machine are working together to conquer that trail. And you have to have a lot of confidence in your machine. You got to let that thing do what it's meant to do. Some people try and overdrive them and do things that they're not designed to do, or I'm a really big fan of just low and slow and letting that machine work. And some guys, you'll see videos all over the internet, all over social media, they are hammered down and they're just spinning and just way too much power for what they're really trying to accomplish. That tire is not getting any traction when you're really hammered down and spinning like crazy. You got to let this machine work. This thing is amazing once you get it out on the trail and you let it do what it's designed to do. To me, I think one of the coolest things about the RMAX4 1000 XTR stretch is the fact that you can use it for work and play. We'll get this thing out on the trail and we'll have a good time trail riding. At the end of the day, you don't feel beat up. This thing accomplishes exactly what you want it to do when you're trail riding. Now, let's flip that script a little bit and let's talk about work. Sometimes people, they don't realize that you can take something like this and really work with it. We do everything with this machine. We've got the dump bed. We'll put everything in there, from wood to mulch to, we'll clean up our trails. We'll put sticks and all kind of stuff in there, and we'll use that dump bed. And it's a very key element to this machine for having that dump bed. And another thing we'll do is we'll put the sprayer in the back. We spray our trails. We maintain a lot of property. We maintain our shop. So we'll put the sprayer in the back and we'll go and we'll do some trail spraying and maintenance. We'll also hook up our rough cut mower, and I do a lot of trimming up the areas for my hunting spot. Depending on, what's going on at the time of the year, we're out there getting busy for deer season already in June, July. We're starting to cut the fields and get things set up. And another thing about having something this big and this sturdy is when you're going down a steep hill with a rough cut mower or a log splitter or a wagon or something, you have to be really careful going down a hill, because if you have a small machine, it's going to push you. And once it starts pushing you, you're going to jackknife. And with this, you don't get that. You have stability all the way around when you're going down a hill, whether you're bush hogging or towing a trailer or whatever. So having something this big and stable really helps out. We have a lot of dead trees around here, so being able to go out on the trail, cut those trees up, split them with the log splitter, and then put them in the bed and then take it where you want it. It just eliminates all that other stuff of going out there and collecting the logs and then taking it and maybe splitting it with an axe or taking it to where your log splitter is. Being able to do it all at once saves a lot of time, and it just keeps it so much more efficient. What we do a lot of times with the dump bed is we'll open up the tailgate and then we'll flip the handle and it just pops right up and we dump everything out. It just is super convenient. Being able to have that dump bed is not only great for dumping your cargo or whatever you're carrying, your mulch, your wood, you can also access the engine a lot easier, and you can do your maintenance a whole lot easier being able to put that bed up to get to everything. And also cleaning. You know, you got to make sure you clean your vehicle after you're done riding and doing your trail riding. And if you want to hit some mud, you know, you got to be able to get into everything and be able to clean it up. I've already added quite a few accessories to my RMAX, and you'll notice here in the front, I have the A-arm guards, I have the front bash plate. It already comes with a worn winch. The front brush guard, I put that on. I put the over fenders on here, and one thing you will notice if you put these over fenders on is it does an amazing job of keeping you clean. And I think they look good, even though I don't have an offset on these tires and wheels. I think it looks really good with this over fender, and it does a great job of keeping you clean. And even here on the back, and the thing about this over fender kit, even though this is an RMAX4, this over fender kit was for an RMAX2, but it's the same exact thing. So you were able to order the RMAX2 over fender kit and install it on the RMAX4, because all this and the front is the same. And then moving to the back here, the rear of the vehicle, I have my A-arm skid plates, and I also have the brush guard, the rear brush guard back here. And you'll notice that this does have the camera on, even though it's an XTR. That's the camera I installed, and I do have videos for all of these accessories, so you can go in and see what I did, and also I have part numbers to where you can get everything. Another thing to me that I really like, and I get a lot of questions about this this vehicle comes with a square tire setup. Now what that is it's the same size tire and wheel front and rear. And what you can do with that is you can rotate your tires to get more mileage and life out of your tires. So that way they aren't cupping. And what that is where one lug will be higher than the other. And once it starts cupping in the front, you're going to start getting a rough ride. So being able to rotate these tires has helped out a lot. I think you get a lot more mileage out of them. And I love the fact that they have bead locks. The bead lock wheel to me is really crucial, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're 100 miles out, you know, from camp, and you're trying to get back and you blow a tire and you may not be able to plug it. The thing about a bead lock is that tire is not going to come off on your way back. It's going to stay on there. You know, it's locked in there, it's pinched in there, it's not coming off. And then also carrying a spare. I do carry a spare, especially if we are going on some longer rides. I'll carry a spare with us. But you know, it's just good to have bead locks as a backup. As far as my personal opinion, comparing the RMAX4 1000 limited compact to the RMAX4 1000 stretch, the compact is a great machine. To me personally, I really like this over the compact. Now I know some guys are like, man, I need something shorter, and might boil down to their trailer is that big and they don't want to get a new trailer, but they want something that's shorter. I really like the length of this. I like the way it rides. I like the way it handles, the way it tracks. I know there's guys out there that love the compact, and that's cool. Everybody has their own kind of what they like and don't like and their own opinion, and this is just my opinion. This is just what I like about this machine. This machine is completely different from the RMAX4 compact because this is built off the RMAX2. So it's a totally different machine, and this is just basically an RMAX2 stretched out. And for me, I really think working with this machine is way better. I have a dump bed, and it just feels like I can do so much more between work and play, and not just focused on kind of play with a little bit of work. So for us, this just really fits for the type of riding and work that we do. I currently have an X2 1000. that's a totally different machine compared to this. As far as like the engine wise, yes, it's the same engine, but totally different dimensions, ergonomics, like everything is totally different on that machine. So the feel that you get out of an X2 out on the trail and working with it and everything is not going to be the same as the RMAX4 Stretch. So if you want a really compact X2 for, you know, a pretty good price point and kind of do a lot of the same and similar stuff, man, that's a great option. The X2 1000 is a great option. But if you're looking for something that you really want to work and play with and be able to haul 4 people and have a lot more passenger comfort, the RMAX4 Stretch is just hands down where it's at. So all in all, in a nutshell, the RMAX4 1000 XTR Stretch is a phenomenal machine. I love this side-by-side. I've done so much more with this one than I did with my compact or the X2 just because it's so versatile. You can really do a lot with this. You can trail ride, you can work with it. But if I had to do all over again, looking back on it, and this is just one of those things, it's a personal thing, I would actually, even though I don't like blue, I would probably have gotten the Limited over the XTR for one reason. That is the IQS shock setup on that. The intelligent quick switch shock setup, soft, medium, firm. I used that on my Limited compact a lot. We'd be trail riding, just cruising along. I'd set it on soft, just kind of like cruising right along. And then if we got to where we're going a little bit faster, I'd throw it on medium. Or if I was hauling a little bit more cargo, you know, I could put it on medium. Or if I was out on the trail and we hit a section and everybody wanted to hammer down and get on it, I could switch it over to firm and that thing would just ride where it was supposed to. The QS3 piggyback shocks on this machine are great. You set them up, you dial them in, but you can't do it on the fly like you can the IQS on the Limited. So just for that feature alone on the Limited, there's a lot of other stuff that you get on the Limited that you don't get on this, but for me, that is the one thing that I could kind of kick myself in the butt for not getting the Limited because of that suspension. And if you have a Limited, you know what I'm talking about. Looking back on it, I probably should have got the Limited and got it wrapped so I didn't have to look at the blue, and I still had a really cool machine with all the bells and whistles. But at the end of the day, I don't regret getting the XTR one bit. Love this machine. In this category, there's not another side-by-side that's gonna touch it. I know, you know, you've got your General, you've got your Commander. I just personally don't think that either one of those machines, if you're looking at it as a whole, can even touch this thing. And I do see sometimes, like, I'll be looking at different things on some Facebook groups or some different messaging and stuff, and some people say, well, yeah, the RMAX is louder. I can tell you that the RMAX is not any louder than the General or the Razor. I will say the Commander is a tad quieter, but that is the only thing that it has over this machine as being a little bit quieter. When you get into Yamaha and you get in an RMAX, you don't have squeaks, you don't have creaks, you don't have rattles, you don't have all that kind of stuff that you get from other vehicles. After 150, 200 miles, maybe 300 miles, you start to kind of hear it and feel it and see it. With this machine, I'm not sure exactly how many miles I have on this now, close to 2,000. Now my X2, I have a little over 4,000 on that one. Still no squeaks, creaks, rattles, nothing. And I think my RMAX4 compact I sold with 2,500 miles on it, something like that. No noise coming out of that one either. So the longevity of how that vehicle is going to handle the rough terrain and whatever you're riding on and driving on, that really kind of in the long run is something that you want to look for, is something that's going to be able to take on 2 or 3 or 4, 5,000 miles and still sound just as good. We also had 3 X2 850s in our rental fleet a couple years ago, and we had 7,000 miles on those when we sold them, all 3 of them. No squeaks, no creaks, no rattles, no nothing. And then also warranty-wise, Yamaha is one of the best when it comes to the warranty. That's something you got to really look at and consider whenever you're looking at buying a machine is how well does the manufacturer stand behind their warranty. I only know of maybe 1 or 2 of these cases personally, people that I know that have had a belt failure, and one of them was around 5,000 miles. Yamaha picked everything up. So the 10-year belt warranty is no joke. You know, sometimes people look at it and say, well, you know, that's belt driven and you can't rely on that. I'm telling you right now, you don't put a 10-year belt warranty on something if it doesn't work. So to be able to have that 10-year belt warranty and that confidence of like, it's not going to cost you, you know, how much money to go to a dealer and have them fix it when it's fully covered. So 10-year belt warranty, all the other stuff that comes with it. For me, this machine in this class for what you're getting is the best you're going to get. So you need to make up your own decision. You need to go out and drive them. You need to go to your dealers. You need to check them out, sit in them. And if you can drive them and get them out on the trail, a lot of times you'll see demo days at certain events and stuff. I would highly recommend you get out and try out one of these units yourself. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to all the other videos that are out there. You need to check it out for yourself to see if this machine is right for you. But I guarantee you, if you give it an honest look and you go sit in this machine and you drive it, you're going to want to take one home. We'll see you guys. Take care. Have a good one.